Okay, grade 8 biology, understanding anaerobic respiration. Previously, we already explained the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and we said that the aerobic respiration requires oxygen, meanwhile the anaerobic respiration doesn't require oxygen. And the sort of like example for activities that we use aerobic respiration is like swimming, cycling, walking, jogging. Okay, for today, we're going to go to the anaerobic respiration, which probably occurs mostly is in plants. It does occur in animals, but more likely in plants. But the products of anaerobic respiration in plants and microbes differ from the products in animals, as we know that in animals, the production here, or what is produced from this reaction, is actually lactic acid. Meanwhile, in plants, ethanol and carbon dioxide are produced. The type of anaerobic respiration that produces ethanol and carbon dioxide is called fermentation. Remember when we said that while you're actually decided to bake some bread, for an example, girls will know this more. It's like when you take yeast as a microbe or as a fungus or anything else, if I take a dry yeast over here and I pour some warm water, what will happen here? And I add a spoonful of sugar or just a bit of sugar. Sugar here is considered to be the food for the yeast. So if I cover it up, that means no oxygen, and I'll just watch and see what happens, and I have all the ingredients that I want to bake with, like flour and stuff like that, if you want to add seeds or anything. The whole process here is about when the yeast is actually fed or feeded on the sugar and mixed with warm water with no oxygen, the yeast here rises up, or the dough, which is lagina, it rises. Why? Because the yeast, when it's fed on the sugar and mixed with the warm water here, it goes through a process which we call fermentation, which one of its products is ethanol and carbon dioxide. So I would notice after like 20 minutes, half an hour, that the dough here has risen from the level that I left it at the beginning of the whole mixing or baking thing. Okay, what happened then? Open up and try to give it a smell, a sniff with your nose. You would smell something more likely as alcoholic, like ethanol. And the whole rising thing, who's responsible for it, is the carbon dioxide, and the whole process is called fermentation. Okay, let's go through and see if there's something. Just like animals, plants respire anaerobically when oxygen is in short supply. However, the products of anaerobic respiration is slightly different. In animals, lactic acid is produced, and in plants, ethanol and carbon dioxide are produced. The type of anaerobic respiration that produces ethanol and carbon dioxide is called fermentation. It can occur in the roots when a plant is growing in a boggy or waterlogged soil like here. See the trunks here of the tree? Okay, the microbes here are tiny organisms that we cannot see by our naked eye. Like for an example, fungi, bacteria. So some microbes are capable of aerobic respiration fermentation. Use fermentation only when oxygen level falls or practically no oxygen is available. As an example of a microbe that does this is the bacterium Escherichia coli. Some microbes are adapted to survive only in anaerobic condition. Bacteria that live far below the ocean surface, for example, and other ones respire only by fermentation. There's another thing that you need to know, that these microorganisms, they grow when there is no oxygen, when they have a warm place and a moisture place. So if I want to prevent microorganisms from getting into my food, I have to make sure that they are put it in a cool place, which is the opposite of a warm place, and yet to a place that has oxygen, so it doesn't grow, which is the opposite of this one, and also in a dry place, so it doesn't have any moisture around it.